There is another way. Let's say same thing. You have your parent class. Okay. There is one constructor which does not accept any value, and there is another constructor which accepts values. Correct? Fine. In the child class, you have your own property in Z, let's say, and then you are saying um, my constructor, which will accept three values. I'm calling a super class, super constructor, which will not do anything. The thing is, this is not doing anything. It will just print, hi, I am parent constructor. So it will actually go here and it will come back. It will come back to the line number 11 and it will put the value this dot z is equals to r, whatever you will pass as r value. Now, x and y are not filled. X and y are not filled till this time. If I'll run this program, so see what will happen. It is printing me, hi, I am parent constructor. Why this is printing? This is not the part of this particular program. This, I am executing child class, but this is printing something which is there in some other class, which is in parent class. So if I want to call explicitly, if I want to call a constructor from my parent class, you can simply say super. So this will go to this. And it is not just whatever you want to do. You may want to do something else instead of just printing it. It's up to you. But I'm able to call my parent's constructor and it will execute it. Then it's saying this dot z is equals to 30 r, which is actually 33. But nothing happened to this 45 and 89. 45 went to P, 89 went to Q, but we did not set anything. This is commented. I have commented this about this, this right. Now it will work. If you will not put this dot x is equals to this and this dot y is equals to q, it will have 0 and 0 because you're not setting it. So this clarifies one thing. This is clarifying one thing, that there are two ways. Either you fill it on your own, you fill it explicitly, right? That now x and y is my property and child's property, and I can have my own 45, 89, and 33 as my own, right? But it creates a confusion. Why this is not a good practice? Let's understand. Because the person who is writing this program, they have to understand about all these things, that how many variables are there, which one was public, which one was private, which one I have to fill, which will be filled automatically. A lot of confusion. That's why it's better not to do this thing and just pass P and Q to its parent constructor. That's it. Okay. One way. Can I override the values? Yes, it's possible. So even after having all this thing, let's say I want to override. I will say, no. C1.x, I want it now as 11 and C1.z, I want it to as 22. Okay. And I can print again all these values. So I'm not touching y. I just want to change x and z and then again printing it. So it's possible. You can change any number of times. So these three values are printed because of the code number, line number 16, 17, and 18. And this last three are printed because of line number 23, 24, 25. Good thing. Now, let's understand about making it private. So public, private, protected are we say access specifier. okay, or modifier. Here, I'm making X property as private. I got suddenly some error here. So it's saying at line number 16 that, hey, field parent.x is not visible. It's saying that X is not visible to this now because parent is saying, hey, this is my private property. So you will not have that thing when you will do something, right? So child is extending parent, but parent has declared some of its property as private. So child will not be able to access it, right? So what I'm saying is in real life, right, what may happen is, let's say parent will have some properties which will be accessible to child, but parent may have home, let's say home one of the home, which they will make it private, and they will say, no, it's our private property, right? You cannot have access to it. It's like this. All other things you will have access, but we want to have home as a private property for us. So you may have your own home or some other variable, but you will not be able to have home one. It's like this. Same way. So we have created it private. Now you guys are able to understand what is public and private. So when you are not declaring anything, it's not public. Okay. One of the interview question, somebody can ask you, when you're not writing anything before any variable or before any function, what it is? It is default. Okay. So there is another what we say access specifier, which is default. Okay. We'll talk about it. But as of now, understand what is private. Private means it's a private property. Outside this class, you cannot access it. It's very simple. If you are inside this class, you can do anything with this X, but outside this class, you will not have access to this. Same is with function also. So show detail is a private property of child parent class. Can I call show detail? Let's see. So okay, as of now, to resolve this, let me make it again default so that error will be not there. Okay, fine. Now I want to call show detail, which is at parent level, right? So I'll say C1 dot show detail. It's not showing me it. It's not accessible. But once I'll make it, where is that show detail? Just a minute. In the parent class here, once I'll make it public, it will be visible to this. Let's try now. C1 dot show detail. See here, it's showing me now. Let me put a separation so that you will be understand what's show detail is doing. Okay, let's run this. Show detail is basically to show the detail of first two values only, X and Y only. It will not print me Z value because show detail function do not know what is Z. Let's understand in another way. Child knows what are the properties my parent has, the public properties, publicly declared properties. It's very simple, right? Child will know what are the properties my parent have which are publicly declared. But parent do not know what their child has. So parent is independent. Parent do not know whether you have, like another property Z, or parent do not know you have another home too. They have their own home, let's say. They don't know what you have. Okay. They only know that you somehow have some their properties and you may use it. It's like this. Fine. So here, when I'm saying show detail in the child class, you are able to call this. But the child class function is not aware about the Z. You cannot say here this dot Z, print this dot Z, because parent do not know there is Z or not. They know their own properties. How they will be able to know? This class is independent class. It is not extending anything or not doing anything. It is independent class. They have their own variables. They have their own things. Child is someone who is actually inheriting the parent. So child will have X and Y and their own Z, right? But when you're calling a function which is parent's function, not the child's function. So parent function knows X and Y only. Okay, it's like this. Now, if you want to make your own show detail, that is fine. You can have it. So what I'm saying, create your own show detail. You can create, let me write it, public void. You can have the exact same name. There is no issue. You can have the exact same name for a function. That is no problem. And computer understands it, how to resolve it. Don't worry. So when I'm saying this, show detail, let me now copy this line so that I don't have to write it again and again. Just a minute. Copying it. Putting it here and adding one more extra thing, which is plus this dot that. Now, this time when I run this, it will print me the latest value of X, Y, and Z in child 11, 89, 22. Earlier, it was not printing me, it was just printing X and Y, not the Z value. Now, why there is no confusion to the system? That is again a question. This is parent, which has show detail, which is public. Now, this is what we say method property. Let's understand. This is called data property, which is declared as some kind of data type here. And all the functions, all the methods will be called method property. So method property show detail, you can call it from child also. But child also has its own show detail, right? So what will happen whenever you will call the function from the object? It all depends on from which object you have called. So you have called with the child's object. So the priority will be, it will call this one. Okay. It will not call parent's function. It's very simple that let's assume here parent has a function, let's say, let's assume parent has walk function. Okay. Child also has walk. So parent has their own way of walking. Child has their own way of walking. Okay. So when child will call the walk function while with creation of its own object, so this will be called. So they have their own way of walking. It's like this. But let's assume you're not creating this. If child do not have their own way of walk, then it will consider the way of walk your parent is doing the same way the child will also do. It's like this. Okay. It's very simple. What happens, your parent or ancestor has home, which has the address of your parents, right? It starts with parents' name. But the thing is, let's say the child may put their own name also, correct? And it will reach to you, correct? If you are not making your own home, if somebody is sending you the letter with your name, right, then also it will reach to you, correct? Or you will have by default all the properties of your parent. So you can use the parent's property as your own. Right? But once you have your own property, if it is the same name, then it will be your own. So whenever somebody will call walk function, this will be called, not your parents' walk. Okay, it's like this. That's it for today. Let me know if you have any queries now.